Let's bring in former Trump 2016 foreign policy advisor and Newsmax contributor George Papadopoulos, also with us, former U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Alabama, Newsmax legal analyst Jay Town. Gentlemen, great to see you both.
Good to be with you, John.
Thank you, John.
All right. Well, George, let's get your reaction to these newly declassified documents.
Yeah, John, I think one of the greatest achievements of President Trump has been to really expose the rot and corruption that pervaded his predecessor's attempt to block a smooth transition of power. What he's also done is he's exposed that the Democrats have really normalized the politically and selective and politically motivated targeting of dissent in America, whether it's Catholics, school teachers, conservatives, MAGA grandmas, or a former president. What the president's DNI has done has been one of the greatest and most consequential moves in American history by declassifying information that has answered the question that we have all been asking: how high up did the scandal go? Many believe Brennan, some thought it was Comey, others thought it was Clinton. We now know that former President Obama's fingerprints were all over this scandal, and he will face accountability, whether it's judicially or from a reputational standpoint. According to the president himself, the immunity ruling out of the Supreme Court likely insulates President Obama from any criminal wrongdoing. That doesn't mean that his cohorts or his underlings will be spared in this justice maneuvering of the DOJ.
Yeah, and Jay, for your legal perspective on this, I mean, we heard it from President Trump. He likely believes this. George echoed this sentiment as well, that President Obama is protected from prosecution. There's also what I've heard from some other attorneys, that Brennan, Clapper, James Comey, and the rest could also be out of the statute of limitations, whether they lied before Congress. But give us your thoughts on their exposure to criminal charges.
Yeah, and this is where we need to manage expectations, let the DOJ strike force do its job, and figure out if false statements were made to Congress. For instance, you brought it up, were they false, and how long ago were those false statements? And I think that the manufacturing of intelligence, as DNI Gabbard put it, is a crime in and of itself. And the thing that the strike force is going to definitely be drilling down on is, okay, well, every time there's an act to sort of cover up that manufacturing of intelligence that was on December 6th, when Obama ordered Brennan and Clapper to go manufacture the intelligence, as Gabbard said, every time that was covered up with a lie or with some other statement, perhaps, or even a writing, that could toll the conspiracy statute of limitations. And so as long as we're within that 5-year period, and as I understand it, I do believe that Brennan testified before Congress about this in just the last couple of years. So he's probably facing the most exposure of anyone, but immunity doesn't prevent anyone from being a witness before a grand jury or a trial jury, or even the United States Congress. And I think we're going to see perhaps all of that.
Yeah, George, even if there aren't, the ability here, whether it's based on the statute of limitations or the Supreme Court ruling to bring criminal charges, what's critically important for everyone is to know exactly what happened. And by exposing that, Tulsi Gabbard has done a lot. I also understand at the DNI's office, there is this special group that's using things like artificial intelligence to dig through these documents that have been hidden away in corners. What else do you expect to be uncovered, considering you are so closely involved with so much of this?
I certainly believe that we'll find out that the scandal goes much further back than Crossfire Hurricane. And this isn't simply my opinion. This was the conclusion of Special Counsel John Durham. His conclusions suggested that both IG Horowitz and Mueller's conclusion of how the whole investigation started was wrong, that there were other agencies involved, other players involved. Certain information, of course, was classified at that time. He suggested that information was unable to reach grand juries, so that he couldn't bring further charges. So I think now that this information is being declassified, we will see whether
People think news just happens. It doesn't. It happens because there's someone there to capture the moment, to explain it and share it. That's my job. I go where news breaks and give you the facts. Join me for The Record on Newsmax.